Hey Royal Family, welcome to the front row. My name is Roanna Moodley and today we're talking about everything I learned from working in the media. If you're someone that wants to get into public relations, communications, media, animation, anything, videography, anything that relates to the media world, then this video is for you. If you haven't by now, click that subscribe button because this is the channel that you keep it royal. This is the channel that you want to get empowered from. More in a bit. Hey Royal Family, my name is Roanna Moodley and today we're talking about all the things I learned from being in the media industry. And if you're someone that is very, very interested in the media industry because you're all about the glitz, the glamour, the lifestyle, the vibe, entertainment, all the things and why you should do it and what you should do to get into it and how you should do it and all the things, then this is the video you've been waiting for. For the longest time, I have been getting inboxes, messages, emails. Roanna, I'm studying public relations. Roanna, I'm studying media and communications. What do I need to do? How do I get into the media field? What is it that I have to do to get in? In my last video, I told you about how I got in, how I manifested being on radio, how I manifested being a media person. And really, it took a lot of practice. It took a lot of perseverance and persistence and a lot of hard work. Please know there is no shortcut method into getting this. But if you believe in yourself, I come from a home that has no background. My parents don't know any special people to do me any special favors. I had to do everything by myself and learn everything from myself. So these are the 10 things I learned from working in the media. The first thing you want to do is you want to study. Today we have a vast majority of courses that are in line with presenting, in line with media, journalism, research methodologies, social media, presenting tactics, English 101. All of those subjects are still available for you. I studied a media and communications degree where I studied heavily into communications and the different avenues of communications. My majors were drama, communications, and English. I did English all the way up until third year. And so I learned how to articulate. I learned how to speak for spoken language. I learned how to write for written language. And I learned the difference between business writing and casual writing. So it's very, very important to understand those fundamentals, to study your craft, to do a course. If you're a YouTuber, perhaps it would be nice, or would be in your best interest to do a social media course, to do a videography course, to understand animations, graphics, lighting, etc. If that is something that does not come naturally to you, it is important for you to put some time into doing a course. Now, you don't have to go into a formal institute to get a full-on degree if that is something that is not for you, or if that is something that you cannot afford at this time. But it is very important for you to do short courses to at least get yourself geared in the direction that you want to be. Remember, in order for you to be a master at your craft, education is key. There's places like Shaw Academy that offer courses for 400 Rand. Then you could do courses at Vega, which is like number one. Then if you want to do the real serious deal, then go to your traditional government universities, UKZN, or you can do it privately via Varsity College or IMMGSM. That's just in South Africa in itself. If you're outside of South Africa, then there's just even more things you can do. You can also study, you can also do Google courses. YouTube Creator Studio has so much to offer. And LinkedIn is another platform that you can use to just get your skills better. Especially in the media industry, you want to be someone that is able to communicate. You need to understand what type of English you're going to be used. Nobody wants to listen to a boring professor who sounds like a textbook. So you need to understand the difference between written, verbal, all different kinds of communication so that you are able to move yourself forward. The next thing I learned from being in the media industry is to speak up. I don't know if you would believe this, but I was actually extremely introverted. I was soft-spoken. I didn't do a lot of things very loudly. I was scared to be who I am. And I learned very, very quickly that if I don't speak up, I'm going to be walked all over. The entertainment industry or the media industry is extremely ruthless. It is cutthroat. And if you don't know how to speak up for yourself and defend yourself, you are going to be annihilated. The best ways to learn how to speak up is to really just be confident in yourself. Watch other speakers, talk to people, get guidance from mentors, and you will find some comfort in people that are more seasoned in where you want to be. When I first started, I really didn't have too many people that could give me guidance because it was that cutthroat, but there were some key individuals that I learned a great deal from, and if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would have learned some of the tricks of the trade. Lesson number 3. I learned to not listen to the naysayers. When you're in the media industry, what I've realized is that everybody wants to be famous. Everybody is reaching for the top, and the moment you get a break, someone is there to take it away from you, and someone is there to put you down and make you think that you are not worthy and capable of the things that you have been given to do. When you're in this type of industry, because it's that cutthroat, because it is that ruthless, you're going to have to know how to segment all the naysayers and not let them get to you, because there's so many people that have told me things, and I would run into the bathroom and cry almost every day because my stupid little self didn't know any better then, and I believed the lies that they told me. They told me I was not a speaker. They told me that I could never write production script. They told me I would never make it on radio. They told me I would never be a great presenter, and I believed them. But the moment I pulled myself out of that negativity and I shut their voices down and I made them quiet and I listened to my own voice, things started to change for me, and it got better. And I became the person that I knew I always was. The 4th lesson in media is you have to know your audience. But I guess this lesson is also fundamental in other areas. Now I speak about media, but this is very, very linked to social media. It's linked to television. It's everything encompassing of the media world. If you know your audience, you know your target market, you know who you're talking to. My audience are empowered people, or people seeking empowerment. That is why they come to the front row. They are people that want to change their circumstances. They are people that do not want to feel like victims, and they want solutions for their lives. That is who I talk to in the front row. Who do you talk to when you're channeling people? Who do you want to spread your value to? Who are those people? Understanding your audience and who you're talking to makes such a big difference, because then you're not scattered and you're not trying to be too many things at the same time. The 5th lesson I learned from being in the media is to always be relevant and to be real. You want your audience to relate to you. So if your audience doesn't understand what you're saying, or you're trying to be somebody else, or you're just not connecting with them because they don't know what the F you're talking about, then it's not going to work. Your story needs to be relatable. So sometimes you might not be relatable to a certain demographic of people. That's okay. You might not be targeting them. So when you target your audience and you know who you're talking to, then the content that you're creating for that target audience is crucial, because it has to match. You can't be talking to women and then talking about like how to shave your beard. It does not make sense. Lesson number 6, I learned this very, very early on when I started my radio career, is when that mic goes on and the red light goes on and you're live on air, you can be personal with your audience, but never private. So with that rule, it helped me tremendously, because there's nothing stopping you from using personal anecdotes to reach your audience so that they are relatable and they're relevant and they resonate with your audience. But you don't need to be private. For example, if you're talking about love matters, I can talk about relationships that went wrong in my life, and I can talk about relationships that went right in my life. But I don't need to talk about the people that I dated. I don't need to talk about the stuff that I did with those people. That's going into the private line. So know the difference, and I promise you this step will help you tremendously. Lesson number 7 is read. It is so important to know stuff, anything. If you're in media, you should be able to talk about anything and everything, and you should have an opinion about everything. That is what will make you successful. Having a good, wide, general knowledge is crucial to get yourself conversation, to be able to converse and talk to different kinds of audience. You should be able to talk to a 5-year-old, and you should be able to talk to an 85-year-old and have good conversation with different age groups. That is what matters. My dad is the star of general knowledge. Every time I visit him, we would talk about something general knowledge related, and he always knows more than I thought I would know. So he is so well read that he can have a conversation with anyone and still rock it. And that's the kind of vibe you want to do. You can't be in a situation where you don't have an opinion about something, or you can't talk about something. For me, my weakness was sports, because I was not interested in anything related to like sports, especially like soccer or football. And then I realized I needed to have an opinion, because most of my friends were guys, and if I didn't have an opinion, then they would just disregard me and I would be invisible. So I needed to have a say. I needed to talk about Drogba. I needed to talk about Man United and Liverpool, and why there's this connection between them and the Indian demographic. I needed to understand what was going on, and I needed to understand a few of the players. And it really did help me in my conversation, because sometimes I can contribute to that. And especially when you're creating content during that time, it's vital to be able to converse on certain things. Now, you don't really need to know that Schumacher drove for Ferrari, or that he became paralyzed when he went on holiday, etc. You don't need to know all the details of it, but you do need to know on face value what the heck is going on. The best way to do that is wake up in the morning, click onto news24.com, and you'll get everything that you need. And if you do it every single day, just by reading the headlines, or even just listening or watching the 7 p.m. news on TV, that in itself is going to help you tremendously. I learned this trick very, very early on in my career. I needed to know what the top story of the day was. And if you focus your mind like that, it starts becoming a little bit simpler for you. When you're in media, you want to build a network of people. And when you're building that network of people, you want to not also lose contact with the people you have made contact with. So it's very important to just send an email here and there to say, hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, hope you're okay, now and again, so that you're making contact with them and you stay a little bit relevant in their contact list as well. So if you ever need an interview with them, or you need a favor from them, then it starts becoming a little bit easier. Your network of people will grow as the years grow, but you must also try and have an email set up where you're sending them bulk emails, so that they all feel that they are loved from you, and they also remember you. Because sometimes, especially when you're dealing with celebrities, they're always so busy, or their managers are so busy, that sometimes you just want to pop them an email so that they remember that they actually did speak to you once upon a time in 2008. The next lesson I learned is to do the right thing. No matter what, keep your dignity, keep your excellence, and to always do the right thing. I remember being in situations that were extremely uncomfortable, especially in the media industry, where a lot of older men think that it's okay to ask for special favors, where if you do have to maybe go on a date with them, etc., they'd give you a better show. So So if you are someone that has been with me on this journey, you will know that I was on prime time and then eventually started doing graveyard shifts. Well, a very big part of that reason is because I did not give in to immoral activities. So it is very important for you to keep your dignity, and sometimes that means you're losing your show. It means losing some of the things that you love, and that's okay, because they are great things for you. The moment you lose your moral compass and you give in because you want the dream so badly, it will come back to bite you in the worst way possible. So if you keep your dignity and you keep it together and you know who you are and you stay true to your moral compass, then even when you leave and you leave on a high, it's okay, because greater things are going to come your way. You're just opening up the universe to say, hey, she handled the situation like this. Let's bless her even more. Let's give her grace. And the final thing that I've learned from being in the media is to never, ever, ever settle. There is always a great story to tell. Always. You have to find that story. You almost have to have a journalistic instinct. There's always something to tell, and if there's content that you feel is boring, then it is. Make sure that what you're saying has some value. It ignites some emotion in the people you are talking to, and if you can change one person's life for the better, then you would have done a good job. I want to use up all my talents. I want to use up all my humanness so that I can give more of myself before I leave this earth. We all should be like that. We all should be striving for that, because we are here for a reason. If you can dream it, it is already written for you, and that means you have it on you to make sure it's done. Work hard, be excellent, be transparent, be honest, have integrity, and you will go a long way. If you need any help further to this, if you want to get into the media field, then do send me a message, comment below, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel. Let's do this thing. And you are my royal family because you chose the front row. I'll catch you on the next video. Keep it royal.